Would you like $4,000 a month that you could live on in retirement? Or an extra $4,000 that you could live on in retirement in addition to your pension plan or your Social Security or some other income? So this chart helps you to understand how you might be able to get to that point. So to be able to have $4,000 to live on for at least 30 years, but likely for much longer than that, you would, following the 4% rule, want to have $1.2 million invested at retirement or whenever you're ready to start taking it out, in order to be 90 something percent sure that you're not going to run out of money for at least 30 years. And so when you decide to start investing for that retirement, it's going to have a big impact on how much you're going to need to invest each month in order to get to that goal of $1.2 million saved. And so something to know before we start is that these numbers include any matched contributions. So if you work for a company that does matched contributions and you are fully vested and therefore going to be able to keep all of your matched contributions, then you can include that in there. Also, if you are part of a couple and you're together trying to get to 1.2 million, then it would be between both of you to save and invest this amount of money. So if you had 50 years and you were going to get an average 8% annual return, you would only need to invest $185 a month for those 50 years to get to $1.2 million. If you had 40 years, then you would need to invest $387. If you had 30 years, then $883 a month. If you had 20 years, $2,186 a month. If you only had 10 years, $6,903 a month. And if you wanted to do it within 5 years, you would need to invest $17,046 a month. And so you can see here on this image that I've also pointed out how much did you actually contribute to get to that point. So for the 50-year timeline, you only contributed $105,000 total. It's just that your money was in the market for so long that you were able to really benefit from the compound growth that it experienced. For the 40 years they invested themselves, they contributed $185,760 of the total, and then they still end up with $1.2 million in the end. And of course, as you get to a shorter and shorter timeline, your money doesn't have as much time to grow, and therefore it's not really getting to compound for very long. If you wanted $1.2 million within 5 years, you would have to contribute almost that full $1.2 million, because in only 5 years, your money isn't going to grow that much. So the miracle of compound interest or compound growth is in leaving it there over time. If you don't leave it there for very long, you're not going to experience as much growth. So even if you are not really thinking about retirement yet, or you're really far away from that, or maybe you're only 18, well, know that if you start now, you could contribute very little and be able to retire very comfortably. Or maybe you are 18 and you think, okay, I'd really like to retire by the time I'm 28. Well, then you have an idea of how much do you need to be contributing to be able to get to that point within those 10 years.